It's been more than a decade since the Republican movement was soundly defeated at a referendum on whether Australia should remove the Queen as the head of state. But now a revival is underway to put the idea of an Australian Republic back on the national agenda. This time, Republicans, including senior Liberal Malcolm Turnbull, promised to engage the public. Elisa Throden reports.
Much has happened to the British royal family since Australia voted no to a republic 14 years ago. The new generation has inspired a resurgence in the royals' popularity worldwide. Even the Queen is comfortable with the modern duties of celebrity. In Australia, the Republic debate, which raged in the 90s, has faded from view. But tonight, a revival is underway, led by the same people who failed to convince Australians of its necessity the last time.
We will win this battle, we will become a republic when we have succeeded in engaging all of the Australian people.
The Republic will never go away until it's achieved, because if you look at Australian history and you look at the Australian people, the completion of the task of taking control over our own political institutions hasn't ended yet. So republicanism has always been with us. It will always be with us until we achieve that objective of taking complete control over our political institutions.
In the lead up to the 1999 referendum, it appeared that history was on the Republican side. Opinion polls showed 2/3 of Australians wanted to remove the Queen as their head of state. The Queen's popularity was at an all-time low after a series of royal scandals. But then a split emerged within the Republican campaign, and voters became suspicious of the model being presented. Many were unhappy that any future president would be elected by Parliament and not the people. Then Prime Minister John Howard, an avowed monarchist, was accused of intentionally derailing the campaign.
There are a lot more important issues. It's not an urgent issue, but it does have medium and longer term symbolic significance.
On polling day, almost 55% of Australians said no.
Whatever else John Howard achieves, history will remember him for only one thing. He was the Prime Minister who broke this nation's heart.
Monarchists say if Australians didn't have the appetite to become a republic then, they certainly don't now.
There is absolutely no mood for change, and that is demonstrated not in one poll, but in the whole trend of the polls, across the polls, and over time. They're all indicating there's very little support, and that's for a vague politician's republic.
Republicans say such sentiments inspire them to do a better job of educating the public this time around. They plan to hold what they call an online plebiscite, which they hope to take to Parliament.
If there is another referendum in 10 years' time and it is lost, I think the Republicans will have to lick their wounds for a very long time indeed.
But it's still unclear just what kind of a Republican model will be on the table this time. Whatever it is, supporters say it doesn't really matter. It's about the symbolism of Australia finally becoming truly independent.
We live for symbols, you know. Look at all the investment that goes into fellas getting a baggy green. And so it is partly symbolic, but it's also constitutional. I believe it will give us finally the sense of identity, and that it will institute a period of creativity, confidence and trust from our neighbours as well.
And if this bid fails, it's unlikely to be the Republicans' last stand. Elisa Throden, Lateline.